And if you get a little extra audio, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, that's what editing is for.
Yes, it is. Future Jesse, edit that.
Do it! Do it now!
Quickly! Before we continue talking, hurry! Quick! Okay.
Alright. We're getting in 3, 2, 1.
That was a test!
It's no syncing. Welcome to Let's Talk in the Corner, everyone! Episode 1. It's the first one. I'm Jesse, also known as Crumpler.
I'm Joey, sometimes very rarely known as Linkblade.
And I'm Mike. Nobody knows me as Mind Knives in this group.
At all.
So we wanted to start doing a podcast, and also thank you to everyone who let us hit our milestone of 200 subscribers on the Ones in the Corner Lit YouTube channel.
Yes, it is. Granted, we haven't really focused too much attention on it, not as much as we could. Hopefully that changes, because future plans, but for now, it's awesome that we have 200.
Yep, we've been doing this we're closing in, started this channel 4 years now, and for me, I never imagined ever hitting this milestone. What really, this channel just kind of started just for fun thing between friends has really now, it's we hope to really help this grow, and it's thanks to you guys to helping it grow to the way it is now.
Hey, maybe one day we can get a silver or a play button or something. That'd be cool.
That's a stretch goal, but that'll be more in the future once we actually have...
It starts at 1,000 or is it 10,000 for the silver one?
Silver is 100,000.
100,000.
And then gold is 1 million.
Right, and then diamond's fucking 10 million or 100 million, isn't it?
I think only PewDiePie has ever gotten the diamond.
Yeah,
the Markiplier has got his.
Oh, really?
He broke it in a video.
Oh! Wait, hold on. There's one that PewDiePie got.
When he hit 50...
No, he got the ruby.
Yeah. YouTube made him an award for hitting 50 million.
Yeah. But, anyway, that's very, very far stretch, and, if we ever get there, it's just because we've suddenly decided, screw it, screw our jobs, screw everything, we're going full YouTube.
Yes. I want that as a vinyl somewhere in our house. Say, screw everything.
Screw everything, we're going YouTube.
Screw our jobs, screw everything.
Be right next to Code Pants.
Alright, we have to explain what the heck Code Pants is.
No, we don't.
Let's go over with how we met, okay?
Alright, so we did ask you a couple questions in terms of, before we started this, and a lot of you just really wanted to know kind of how we met, how the channel came to be, and also some of you asked what the heck Once in the Corner means or where it came from. So I think it's just best to start how we met.
Alright, so starting off, Mike and I actually met in junior high school. We actually met through a mutual friend of ours named Buddy. And yeah, it was, well, actually, no, we first met, we didn't quite realize it, but we met at Mill Hollow years and years ago. When we were
kind of a summer camp thing, programmed through school.
Yeah. It's kind of like, summer, go spend a week up in, in Mill Hollow, which was this, campground where, friends, social activity, camping, all that fun stuff. In all honesty, I didn't even quite realize that I'd met him at that point.
Yeah, we realized that we had met each other before and formed kind of a temporary friendship probably a year or two after we became actual friends, we were reintroduced to each other. It was very strange. And oddly enough, we did actually meet in a corner during a dance
because we
were the nerdy kids in the corner.
Yep. And so that was that. But then we met in high school junior high, and we were back then we were the kids that were basically, we were the outcasts even back then. We didn't really, we didn't have very many friends. We were just kind of in our own little clique, and it was kind of us against the world kind of thing. So Mike and I met. Unfortunately, when we left junior high, Mike moved to Oklahoma for a few years, and we went on. Then I went on to Kearns Junior High. God damn, I keep messing that up. Kearns High School, where I met Jesse in my second year there, in his first year.
Yes.
And we shared TV broadcasting together. And we happened to sit in the corner of the setup of the room. The desks were kind of arranged in this large kind of square, and we were in the corner with another former friend of ours, Tanner, who you may see in some of our earlier videos. And why don't you tell them about the project that kind of became like the ones in the corner, the stupid song.
Well, before we get to that, it's kind of like further emphasis on kind of how we met. It was supposed to be our second project, and it was a required group project. And to me, I was in the corner. I hope you catch the theme here.
I was going to say.
Yeah. It was literally just in the moment I just was kind of sitting there, and I kind of saw everyone kind of already formatted their groups, and I was just kind of sitting there. I was like, how am I going to do this project? And then it was just both Joey and Tanner just kind of slid next to me, and it's...
Well, we were already sitting next to you. He and I had already talked about being in a group, and we just kind of turned to you. It's like, we need another person.
Yeah.
Hi, you're unoccupied.
Yeah. and then we went on to how it was basically we had to come up with a sketch. There was no theme or anything. We just had to come up with something, and we jokingly said, "Let's recreate that one scene in SpongeBob where the officers are beating that one guy, going die zombie." And that's how kind of the conversation went.
Right. That was essentially our first real conversation, and that was our first scene. And if I remember right, it was a sock puppet thing, right?
No,
literally a sock puppet.
That's later on. It was just the skit was basically what eventually was like. I threw a ball at you, and then you chased me through the hallway, and then it cut to a scene where Tanner it's very cheesy, where Tanner was opening up his locker, a bottle falls down, and then as I'm running away, I'm not looking, and I run into the locker and fall down. One of those skits I'm very glad that I will never upload and never see again. It was just like a very early attempt to kind of get a grasp on, at least for me, trying to get filming and editing.
It was basically Dummy's first attempt at filming and editing and everything, and it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, and then the next project we had to do a music video, actually.
Oh God.
And
I was sick during the recording.
Yeah.
And so my voice was terrible.
I'm kind of half glad that I wasn't part of that.
Yeah. And
that shit embarrasses the hell out of me.
And it's just one of those things. It was the purest form of one of those projects where it's like we were so out of our element. So I had a bunch of... I had a CD that I burned, and it was full of just introduction music from WWE, because during that time I was huge into WWE, so I just found us, and also it was great because a lot of those introductions don't have lyrics.
Yeah.
So it was easier to add our own words. It was a Mick Foley. I surprised I still remember this. It was Mick Foley's introduction theme, and we just the song was "How You Might Know Us, We're the Ones in the Corner."
And it was basically that, and we're not going to go into
No, we're not going to go into the lyrics.
Ever.
It was basically... It's just all it was just introducing ourselves, and can you let me say the chorus at least? I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to say
okay,
it.
Okay.
It's no one understands us, we're the ones in the corner. And that was the strong emphasis on there, and that's kind of where the name, The Ones in the Corner, really stuck.
Yeah.
Because just that chorus...
And throughout high school, it was we all had our own individual groups of friends that were not included in this, but the three of us made up the ones in the corner. That was us. And not to say we were an official group in high school, by no means. Honestly, we were drifters. All three of us were just drifters. We'd wander from group to group. Whichever group we felt like being in that day is what group we were in that day. And a lot of times we didn't even hang out with each other in school. It was mostly just, when we were together, we were the ones in the corner.
It was just a title and nothing more.
Yeah.
And in terms of me meeting Mike, it was very much later, and I still remember the first time I met you, it was just briefly. It was just basically it was during the time where it was close to the end of the year, so it was it's time where teachers were not taking care of roll, and you just came by to visit one year.
No.
No, wait, that was
No.
Buddy. My
Yeah,
mistake.
that would have been Buddy. No,
No,
Mike
you met me once I moved back
Yeah,
here,
once
I
you
believe.
moved. Oh yeah, it's the
I mean,
your
I-
birthday party.
Birthday party. That's when you met him, and you'd kind of struck a somewhat friendship with him, but a friendship hadn't really formed yet. And one time we'd lost contact with each other after school. I still hung out with like Tanner, and I reconnected with Mike when he moved back. But Jesse and I, we kind of like lost touch. But then randomly, a few years later, after he'd gone on his mission, and I was, and randomly, I remember we were driving down the road, and we were passing by the neighborhood, Jesse's neighborhood. And randomly, I was in the car with Tanner and my girlfriend at the time. And we just randomly decided, let's invade Jesse's house. So we literally came over here. Jesse was home alone at the time, thank God, because his parents would have been freaking out, I imagine.
Yeah.
We just called Jesse and said, hey, come outside. We're here.
Yeah, but I still will remember that. I will still remember that phone call. At first, it was just Tanner on the phone, and he's like, "So, how's it going, Jesse?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just working on homework and such." He's like, "How are you liking the Wii U?" I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good. Just want more games for it." And then I hear in the background, "Jesse, open your door. We're here." And I believe it was you that yelled that. And then I just like, "What?" And it's one of the funny things. So I answered, like, you guys are there. And it's like, hi, we wanted to play the Wii U. And you're the only person that has one. And the one thing I remember saying, like, since I had homework on, but I've regrettably had a window open of Game Grumps. So you immediately saw this. So you're like, homework, huh?
Yep. But then I remember I actually sat down and kind of like guided him through doing like his homework.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, check this.
It was just basically we're doing English homework, and he said like, "Hey, they wanted me to go back to your place and play games," and it's like I need to get this done before midnight, and you're like, "Give it here."
It's like, what do you want to type?
Yeah.
What score did you get on that, by the way?
I got 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. I am king.
Yeah. And then ever since that, basically, to us, a historical event, we basically it just went from just spontaneous hangouts, and then it became to like, hey, let's really plan this, and then it's been happening for years.
Yep. And as far as like how we started the channel, so we had talked about it on and off for almost the entire time we'd been hanging out. But the thing that really triggered it, and we still have not recorded that game. God damn it! So there was a game festival. So several mini game festivals have sprouted up in Utah, trying to become the big game festival here. And one that we really enjoyed when we had gone to it was, what was it, Saltfest?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saltfest.
Don't look it up now. It's something completely different.
Yeah,
and,
it's completely different, and oh my God, it lasted a year and a half. The
Yeah,
second
a
year
year.
barely counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, second year of the convention was very disappointing.
But anyway.
But we had gone there, and it was up at the University of Utah. And the University of Utah actually has a pretty good game development program. And one of their classes had formed like their own little game group, / Studios. And they had brought over a game that they had in like their beta phase right then called
Magnetic by Nature.
Magnetic by Nature, and it's on Steam if you want to look it up. But we had played that, and Mike and I were the first ones to actually beat the game.
Which I would like to point out that I didn't realize that there was a run feature, so I beat the entire game walking, which is way harder.
Yes. So like in that beta state that they played, they beat it.
And so we sat down, and one of the devs actually sat down, and we were having a conversation with him about our thoughts on the game, what cool things we think would be really cool, and the mechanics we liked about it, and, stuff like that.
For a good 20-30 minutes, too.
Oh, yeah, we spent, like, a good portion of the convention time we were there just chatting about this game.
Yeah.
And then we started thinking about, it'd be really cool to be able to put this thought into, like, recorded form.
Yeah, kind of way at first is kind of promote this game, because we strongly were like, this is a great game. We really want this to be successful.
So we then came back, and I think it was like literally the next day, we recorded something. And unfortunately, Magnetic by Nature had not been released yet, so we couldn't actually...
What did we record
Kerbal
first?
Space Program.
Kerbal Space
was
Program.
our very
That's
first.
right.
Yeah.
And we had episodes just basically, it was just...
It was horrible.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Yeah, honestly, it'd be kind of interesting to go back and redo those now. But,
yeah.
I can get to the
But
moon.
the funny thing is that we have the game that literally inspired this channel. The game that we swore that we would do, that we would play and review and, spend a good amount of focus on, we have yet to play. Jesse owns it, I own it.
No, I don't.
Mike doesn't. But Jesse and I
I've
do.
already beaten it.
No, you actually
That
haven't.
was in the beta state.
There's actually more.
I know there's more now and stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I've
It's,
seen
it's almost completely different now.
I know, and I've seen part of it, and I've played part of it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
But yeah, I find it kind of humorous that we have never played the game that inspired this channel.
And that's the reason I started it up, just played the first few levels, and then stopped, just, make sure it was working, kind of get a feel for it before recording. And it's just, I think just the problem is just one of those things where it's just, in terms of our recording mentality, we always try to think, like, usually for me, my biggest problem is, like, what is currently installed? Since that game is not there, and it's also the bigger problem is it's hidden in a sea of 800 plus games. So that's also my problem, where it's like I don't really search through games that are not installed, and also a lot of times we think like, what's current, what looks fun.
You have way too many games and way too many of them that haven't been played for very long.
Many of them that haven't ever been touched.
I know, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because like Jesse, you have 800 games, and I don't think you have more than one or two that have over 100 hours on them.
Yeah.
And probably over half that maybe not even been touched.
Yeah.
And I have 200 games, and I have at least 20 of them that have over 200 hours on them.
Okay, to be fair, that when you get into like games like that, you focus heavily on that game, like Farming Simulator or Skyrim or
Right now, number one
Ark.
is Ark with 670
But
something.
that's
hours?
the thing, is that you get like heavily focused
Yes.
and dedicated to one game. The thing is, I only have like 3 games in my library that I have done over 100 hours on. Skyrim, Civilization 5, and God, what's the other one? I know there's another one. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'll look it up later.
And also to further defend, the reason why I have a lot of games is
Humble Bundle.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. To be
When
fair.
Humble Bundle became a thing, I went like early on. Like I went for a lot of those. So again, granted, yes, there are a lot of games that I have not played, but a lot of times where like those games were not the reason I bought the Humble Bundle. Where like they were just like, here's one was literally for $1 you could get 50 games.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna play all of them because a lot of them were just like old like remakes of like old DOS games, like the original Duke Nukem. It's like I will ever feel like I want to play the original Duke Nukem ever in my life, unless I want to go on a retro binge. So like,
and even then, you're more likely to play like the original NES games if you're going on a retro binge.
Speaking of retro binges, have you seen the there's a retro pack, Disney game pack that they're releasing? It's DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and I think there's one other. I think it's another DuckTales game.
Yeah.
That they're releasing. They're remastered, and they have online support for they have a boss run mode and a time attack mode for them.
Interesting.
And for $20.
Yeah, $20, and you get these 4 old classic games. Which DuckTales, I hear, is an amazing game.
Oh yeah,
I own DuckTales, but it's one of those things like one year I believe I have to double check on this, but like DuckTales 2, like if that's on there, that's great because that's one of the more expensive NES games you can get, and it's not really available on any other digital platform outside from piracy.
Yeah.
And continuing on with our previous thing about why we don't focus on, why we never really think, okay, let's go and actually do this. We talk about doing it. We think, okay, let's do it. But then some other random game we see sounds really awesome and fun to play, like Duck Game. It's
the Ooh Shiny effect.
Yeah, it's the Ooh Shiny effect, and we don't tend to think of it on the day of. Plus, not to mention, as anyone who actually follows our streams knows, we're inconsistent, our own lives are kind of like Jesse's in college. Mike and I have work full time, and we get off late. And for a while, we weren't even like having our regular like weekly hangouts. Our weekly hangouts consisted of going to our weekly Dungeons and Dragons session. So, life just kind of decided, nah.
Yeah.
However, take heart. We are in the midst of kind of planning to move out and actually get our own place. Like toward the end of this year or the beginning of next.
Yes.
At the very latest.
Yes.
And so
that'll open things a lot up for streaming more, for like us as a group, and doing more recordings and getting a little bit more consistent.
Yep.
Which I'm looking forward to, because
same.
I mean, I don't stream now. There's too many distractions at home and different stuff like that. But if we're all in a group together and we know each other's streaming, we're not going to bug each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with me. The reason it's like I started streaming for a little bit, but then it's like my computer exists on the edge of my home's Wi-Fi network, and since I still live with my mother, she will not let me move the Wi-Fi closer to my room, despite the fact that I'm the heaviest user of the internet in the house. Secondly, I can never be sure about the consistency of whether or not my family will shut up long enough to, let me stream without hearing them yell at each other from across the house.
Yeah, and
internet and family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually for me, it's like, I know the best thing I can really do to really push forward to a good solitary stream is to create a schedule, which usually a lot of the times where I wake up, I'm currently employed as a lifeguard, and I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning almost every day, and I go to work, and then granted that this semester I only have to go Tuesday and Thursdays, but still it's one of those things where it's like, on those days where it's like, okay, I go to work, then I go to school, then it's a kind of like that 50-50 of, am I still a functioning human being afterwards, or do I require rest?
Yeah.
And that's why and that really hurts me trying to stay at even Tuesday and Thursday, that's still, because a lot of people have been wanting me to go for a Twitch partnership, which I would love to do, but one of my main problem is I'm not constant. Like I said, I don't have a constant schedule.
Yep.
And that's like a stab in my own back, because again, how currently life is. But if we definitely at this moment where we do move out, that would be a good push to really formulate a schedule and just stick to that schedule and then really push for the and partnership. And also, the cool thing about that is before, Twitch had you had to have like a congruent number of people in there. Like I said, they say like something like 500. That's been removed now.
Really?
It's mostly, is your channel growing? Do you have a constant schedule? And like those were kind of like, I forget the whole list, but those were like the two main points. And when I saw that, it's like, I immediately thought of like the scene from Dumb and Dumber. It's like, so you're saying there's a chance. And it's like, now, because that was one of my other main things at the time, where it's like, my numbers are nowhere close to that. Like, I've only had a couple of bursts when Gar Blue Moon, like, once he finishes the stream and he sends a raid towards me. But again, it's like, that wouldn't count towards that. So it's just mostly like, in terms of our own channel and our streamings, once we're all moved and just basically now, when basically the Once in the Corner house, operation finally comes into fruition, it will definitely really help.
Yep, our YouTube recordings will go up. We'll actually be able to be more consistent there. Hopefully, it's like with access to the program, I'll be able to help editing. And then we'll also all be able to stream more often, because one of the like key requirements for like whatever house we move in is that it has to have access to at least a minimum of 100 megabits upload and download.
Because for three people doing shit online all at the same time is
basically 3 heavy internet users all at once. So
yeah, and
we all want direct LAN, because
that the modem's being centrally located in the house.
Yeah. And we even jokingly said, like, when the internet goes down, we all simultaneously open our doors, walk to the machine, walk to the router.
Yep. That'll be like how we call a house meeting. Is like we go and plug the router.
God, to be fair, I hate it when my family does that because they know if the internet goes out, I'm upstairs. They know that gets me if they can't contact me in any other way.
And that's usually how my family knows too. Whenever they see me go upstairs, and they say like, "All right, he's either coming for food or the internet's out." And one thing
I forgot to leave those burritos in front of his door.
And that's another funny joke that my mom always said. Like, I imagine if they were to move out anytime soon, I will come with the house. And it's like, just leave burritos by the door. He'll make sure the internet's working. Don't mind him.
You don't even notice. Just, like, one time, like several months into it, you're like, who the hell are you?
Yeah. There's just a little sign on the door, do not disturb. Caution, beware of nerd.
Yeah. Police tape.
There's a little doggy flap. It's like burrito care package area.
Burrito care package. I love it. Joey, I want this now.
It's in the middle of your door, and you have a little shelf on the other side. So they just slide it in, and it just sits there.
And you're just like, my burritos have arrived. But then you put them in your fridge or cook them in your microwave when you're hungry. That's what we're probably going to do when we all live together. I'll just like install one of those on his door. Be like, all right, burrito care package for Crumpler.
Sign at the end of it, Verde.
Yeah, the type of burrito he wants for the next day. You know, bean and cheese, bean and
make my request.
Yeah, that's his request form. Yeah, he has
we send him veggie wraps.
Yeah. No. The veggie wraps start coming when rent is due. It's like rent is due. Here's your notification. You'll get veggie wraps.
The green reminds you of something.
And so he has to like write a check and like push it through in order to get the meat burritos back. This is what's gonna happen if like Jesse is like a dedicated streamer where his income comes from Twitch.
Yeah.
Then it's like he'll live on his computer and we'll just start doing the care packages.
Yeah.
He'll start paying rent in bitcoins.
No.
No.
So yeah, that's a lot of our future plans and it's just one of those things where it's just one of those things where I always say, like, you know, even though we're not as much as I like to be a dedicated YouTube channel, like, thank you for all your patience, and usually this community is beyond more than I would call understanding. There's a lot of times where I always, for good portions of my years, I would always apologize, like, if a video's running late or a stream didn't happen, and they're just always just like, take your time, we understand. It's like, because it's one of those things where it's like, you usually hear, like, if a popular YouTuber doesn't upload for the day, there's, you hear, like, there's death threats. It's like, where's my fill? And I'm just glad we're in the community that we are, that's willing to, willing to understand that, they're kind of like, say, like, I'm the producer, I'm, like, the main editor, and
yeah,
to be fair, though, we're not big. I mean,
yeah.
You're talking about Markiplier and PewDiePie.
Yeah,
and,
I know,
and
but
some of these ones that have the gold play button and have 1 million.
Yeah, but those are the stories that I've always hear about. So when so seeing the complete opposite, it's nothing just surprising, and even then when when people say, like, when really what really helped was we were going through a very, very dry spell, and it was basically to the moment I was heavily into college. It made it very difficult to try to get a day together, and it was just to that moment where I could tell, like, a lot of us were just kind of like, what's the point? And then it was during that time, and then one time I was watching my friend Patrick Static. He was live streaming one day. I don't know what compelled me, but it's just, he was playing a Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, and I just asked, he's never met me before other than just being a person in his chat. I just asked him, do you need a co-op buddy? And he asked me, and then he's like, you know what, Grumpler, you have a good microphone? He's like, I have a great microphone. And we connected, and it was just throughout the stream. It's one of the things I really felt about. I suck at Call of Duty Zombies, so it was a good portion of the stream of Crumpler needs revived, Crumpler needs to be revived, Crumpler needs to be revived. So I was like, oh great, this is my great first impression, I thought, and then it came to point people in chat where it just asked questions, but they don't get to know me, and then I didn't even ask. I became friends with one of his moderators, which is known as, her name is Violet. You may know her as Violet Dragon. She dropped the link to our YouTube channel. And I didn't even ask, and I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you. And then when I checked, we went from like 11 subscribers to 33 in one night. And I remember the very next day, I contacted Joey. It's like, we need to record.
We have viewers.
Yeah, it's like to say, we have a mighty need.
Yep.
And so
we have actually had 3 pushes of that sort that I can think of.
Yeah.
That was probably like the first major one. Another one, like, came about, oh god, I don't even remember. There was something that happened, or we watched, then we just decided we need to record again. Let's start, like, because it was the most recent dry spell. We got kind of, like, stopped recording for a while, and then randomly we just decided, let's film Pokemon again. We need to film Pokemon again.
I think it was just kind of to that realization of the gap between, because a lot of times when I just realized, like, usually just, like, the gap of our last episode, it was like, holy shoot. Because it was just to that moment where the last time we record was August of last year, and it wasn't until, and just once we noticed that, it's like...
I think it was kind of like a big flare that it's like, I put it because I noticed it's like, our channel's getting, like, the McGrumps is getting on there. And it's just like, where the hell's the ones in the corner? It's the ones in the corner channel, not the McGrumps, goddammit.
Yeah.
So it's just like, shit, we need to get our content on there because this is kind of getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's just to that moment where it's like, that was just kind of, once, we kind of realized that, it's just, as I'm trying, it's always when I feel bad, is just because I do love recording with Gar, the Major Pie, and Mr. Snowcone, but it always, this channel started as, us 3, and I always feel bad when when it's just, for a while, just Mr. McGrump stuff. In reality, it's like, I don't want that to overshadow too much of what this channel originally was.
We don't want it to overshadow it at all, I mean, because, it's like, great, having some content to fill in there. Like, the problem is, unfortunately, right now, you're the only one in a position that can actually put content on the channel.
Yeah.
Because, audio issues at my house, because family, that family won't, be quiet in my area long enough to let me record. Yeah. Mike doesn't have good enough, like, recording equipment to really go ahead and do it.
I don't have video equipment. With my recent upgrades, I could record just fine, actually. I'm just really lazy.
Yeah.
I have multiple graphics cards, and
true.
I have a good computer
That's
now.
That's true. You have the equipment. You have the mic. Yeah, you have.
So
all
I know
that.
I could, just I don't because I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Although I have been wanting to try and do some streaming of MechWarrior because I've been playing that quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
And not necessarily watching chat or anything, but just playing it, having it on there, maybe glancing at it every once in a while. But
yeah,
I've been thinking of that.
And just kind of this moment where, even though that said, we do have Pokemon Crystal Shards, plenty of footage that will be released. It's just, and there's the problem too, since I'm the main editor, it just goes back to, am I a functioning human being when I'm done with work and school?
Yep.
The brain power, because like when you edit, for me, it's like, as much as people say like editing for a Let's Play channel is easy, granted it is, but it's just, for me, I like having our own kind of style to it. Like, you may notice like some of the Pokemon stuff, like there's like images or sound effects or just like some, I like to throw some fun things in there, so it's not just recorded for 15 minutes, cut and get it out. And it's just, that's why I know it's a main problem. And again, thank you for all those understandings. But episodes are on the way, and we are getting very better. I just think it's just, we always go through those dry spells, and just, since it's easy for us, for a channel like us, to get into those dry spells, because since we're going about our lives, it's our main source of revenue does not rely on YouTube yet.
At all, really. I mean, I think one time we were like, we got 10 cents and we joked about it. It's like, oh God, what are we going to do with all this money?
Let's quit our jobs. We're millionaires. And it's that kind of sense, and that's what I just love about all this, because I've seen so many of like my friends or like other people I've watched try to go for try to go for the big numbers on YouTube or and with their group of friends and such. The motivation was there, and then something happens and it dies. And I'm just very proud, between us throughout like almost 4 years, even though we go through dry spells, we are still continuing this, and also still friends after all these years.
It's gonna take time for us to get to the point where we're gonna have a lot of viewers, where you really need to be worrying about revenue and income with YouTube or Twitch, or you becoming one of these great people that has a lot of subscribers or anything like that.
I think at this point that's not a goal for us.
Right.
I mean, like, it's the kind of thing. It's like, oh, that'd be cool if it happened, but
right.
By no means at this point is that like one of our like goals.
Right. Unless we get some sort of a really big push.
Well,
or
big push,
like
but the thing is, another big thing is like, before we can rely on a
it.
big push, we have to be more consistent. I mean, we have to have like daily content, like
or
if
at
we
least
have
weekly.
Yeah, if we're in a position where we're getting like daily or bi-daily content, then it's like, okay, now we can start looking to trying to become more dedicated at it,
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, it's like, for me, it's because I want to do it. I want to get more content on there. I want to add more to it. I want to be able to record videos, stream, and post videos and stuff like that. I want that not because I really want like to be a YouTube celebrity. I don't care. If we become YouTube celebrities, sweet. If we don't, oh well. I want to record because I enjoy the recording. I enjoy playing the games and sharing my thoughts and feelings on these games with others. That's my idea of going into it. Yeah. And I hate the fact that I can't really do that at the moment. I don't have the means of properly doing it, except for over here at Jesse's. And life is just like, if one of us doesn't really feel like it, it kind of kills the entire mood, because the thing is like, I don't really feel like filming. Then it's just like, well, there's Debbie Downer,
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm guilty of it. Jesse's guilty of it. Mike's guilty of it. We all are, It's like, we're all individual people, and we all might have had a bad day or a bad week, and we just feel like, I just want to relax and chill with friends.
As I said it before, these guys are a lot of fun to hang out with, but they're not relaxing in the very least. And sometimes you just need to relax.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's... And in just kind of in conclusion of this, and the kind of this segment, it's just, we do have long-term plans for this channel, both streaming and YouTube, and thank you for everyone being patient with us as we tried. For now, I've been trying to at least get some weekly content out, and it's just one of those things to reach just 200, and to me that is a huge deal, because but a channel has just started just something as for fun project, and again we kind of speculated. A lot of early YouTube channels, they always say like, what if we got the big numbers? But in the end, it's like, I don't think we've really focused on the numbers. We just want to get content, and that's
we just want to have fun. That's where we're not doing this to be famous or to have money.
Yeah.
We're doing it because we want to, and because we really enjoy our community, and we like putting stuff out for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
So enough on that. We kind of told you about ourselves, how we met, how we started, and where we want to go from here.
Yes.
But for now, let's kind of switch over, and what have we been up to most recently? We've all kind of been doing our own things. I think I can... mine's the easiest answer. Nintendo, Switch, Zelda. I've just been that. That's been my life for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. For me, I've been continuing my schoolwork. It's been pretty... Well, I don't want to say easy, just basically... but comparative to other terms, has been a lot more chill. I'm taking an animation class, just kind of a... That one's kind of like same old kind of an art class, because even though I have not used Flash much, we're not going over anything that I don't already know. So it's just one of those classes where it's like, I just wait for the instructor to say, okay, go ahead and work on it. And then my TV broadcasting class, having an absolute blast in that class. And the last Friday, and the day of this recording, I actually got to be anchorman. And because it was just during a time where we did not have a lot of people come in, and it was just we just assumed like it was during that time. It was like a week, it was like the weekend before spring break, so we assumed people just took an early spring break, and we didn't have anyone to read off the news. So I kind of stood up, and that was that one. It was really fun, mainly because they let me be myself. Is the best terms I can say. Like I'm so used to everyone's just kind of down serious, kind of have a quirk, but they're just reading the script. I just kind of went off my own thing, really had emphasis on that, and one of the highlights is at one point when the segment came back, and it was just the story was the students were asked like what are the major events of holiday and like fun facts about Valentine's Day. So my cut back was like was to say 58 million pounds of chocolate. So I went 58 million pounds of chocolate, and then so I really went that. So when I went back in the studio, it's like, you were like a super villain. You ran that off, and they loved it.
It's like 58 million pounds.
Like even one of the people was like, "Why didn't you do the finger from Austin Powers?"
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, so that's been like college wise. In terms of,
it's easy to point out our generation, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of gaming wise, I've been mostly just a lot of this week has been focusing on trying to stream. So outside from streaming, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually, it's just I've recently been really getting. I was huge into Yu-Gi-Oh when I was very much younger, and that's just one of those moments where I just kind of. Yeah, only beforehand I've only put my dual disc back.
Sorry.
So anyway, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game that recently came out on Steam, and I usually normally stayed away from like newer versions of Yu-Gi-Oh because like the newer cards come out, and I just like the deck I used to have, like the newer cards would just wipe the floor with, and then eventually I was able to. Of course, you have to grind and get duels to get points to get those packs. But once I was able to compile all the cards in my original deck, holy crap, does it hold up! And it's like, of course, granted, a lot of those cards are not tournament use, but it was just so much fun. It's just for me to be like going against these. It goes through the campaign of the show, and go through the actual duels, and then for me to have a choice, I can use my own deck. So it's like I go against like Seto Kaiba, like Maximilian Pegasus, and I'm like, here's my card. So it's like it comes my duel, and it's such a nerdy thing to say as I say this out loud. It's in practice. It's like this is just like a very fun game for me to just go through, and it's just I've been mostly just playing that, and of course also been playing Breath of the Wild, but when I've been mostly just doing that for like it seems to be like in 2-hour bursts.
Because you're an abomination RPGs.
Thank you. So I start my sessions where it's like I have the amiibo, so I scan the amiibos, get my items, and I just look on my map and say where to explore now, and then just after 2 hours, usually after working on homework, other graphic art stuff, or even editing. So it's like I've really been enjoying it.
See, the kind of opposite thing for me happened. It's like when I was exploring Breath of the Wild, it wasn't so much where does my map point me. Mine was, shiny thing, over that way. I haven't been over there yet. Let's go! And I wander over there, and then I see the yellow or the orange glow of a shrine, and I'm just like, nee.
So there's that pattern. I just still want to be like, shiny thing, ahoy!
You mean, nee.
No, wrong.
Sorry, I was trying to go for the... yeah, never mind.
Is that what you
Yes, he edited it out, yeah. That didn't happen.
Nope, that happened, and you are a disgrace.
Damn you, 42-minute mark.
So anyway, disgrace. I mean, Mike, go ahead.
Wow.
What have you?
The abomination says this.
Wow.
So
okay.
So I kid. Please go on.
So what I'm doing,
Plotting Jesse's murder.
Besides that, so we have the Dirty Thief, the RPG Abomination, and what did you call me?
A disgrace.
Fucking disgrace.
Wonderful.
No, I just said disgrace.
Well, he needs a second word.
New titles. We'll be changing our gamer tag soon.
Dirty Thief.
Well,
to be fair, your title before that was what's it? What is that? The damn cheater. What was it? God, what was the term I coined? Instead of, like, the champion...
the cheating bastard.
Cheating bastard, that's
cheating
it.
Bastard.
Mike is the current cheating bastard.
That's right, I can live with that. I will hold on to that title as long as possible.
And which, by
Speaking
the way,
of which, I actually have a game that I want to challenge you in for that title.
All right, what's the challenge?
I'm going to challenge you to Zombie Party.
Oh, that's right, you told me about that.
Yep.
I have no idea what that is. I know it's a game.
Or he's setting you up for a party, then get ready for
Now,
disappointment.
if Breath of the Wild were multiplayer, I would so totally challenge you to that.
You in a co-op experience, one person gets one Joy-Con, the other one gets the other.
Oh God, no! But that's
God, that sounds difficult. Let's do that.
That actually does sound like a fun YouTube thing. But PBG already did that with Jeff.
Still,
yeah, that's what I'm getting the idea from.
Anyway,
that would be kind of a fun challenge to do, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, as far as my activities, a lot of it has been Breath of the Wild, like Joey, and I'm sure a lot of Nintendo fans. And then recently, I just started playing MechWarrior Online again. I keep yo-yoing back to that game. I started playing it when it came out originally in beta, and then I stopped playing it for about a year and a half or more. And I came back to it for a couple months, and this is my third time playing it now. Going back to it and wasting money. But there's an update coming out, new weapons, new mechs, super happy. But I still need to beat Legend of Zelda. I'm close, and yeah.
So I'm the only one that's actually beaten the game so far, and actually have all the shrines taken care of. No way in hell am I getting all 900 Korok seeds because I'm not a masochist.
Yeah.
You
almost said status 2.
Yeah.
But I guess it's an excellent segment. It's like it's now been about 2 weeks since the launch of the Nintendo Switch, and it's like we'll talk to Zelda in a moment. But it's like, well, I want to just go about the console itself, as basically now 2 weeks have gone by about the console itself, is in terms of kind of like your experiences with the console.
So far, I'm actually, personally for me, I'm very impressed with it. I mean, I was actually somewhat surprised by how small and frail it looks when you open the box. And it's just like, I knew it would be kind of small, but I'm like, oh wow, that's...
Yeah, it was smaller than I thought it was.
Yeah, it was smaller, even smaller than I expected, but the thing is that now that I've actually played it and, and been using it, I appreciate its size. If it were bigger, it'd be kind of unwieldy, but the size it is, it's like just about the maximum size that you can comfortably take it with you, stick it in your pocket, and pull it out and, play it handheld style, Now you got
the case, and I can tell you right now, the case is nice to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, but, I mean, I have, like, the 3 different ways of playing it, I have, like, of course it comes with the Joy-Con and the Joy-Con grip. I also got the Pro Controller, which, in all honesty, that controller feels amazing. It is a great controller. Granted, the Joy-Cons, they're not bad. Like, the 2 most common ways I play it is handheld mode, where it's basically the Joy-Cons are just on the Switch, and I'm just playing it like that. Mm-hmm. Or I'm at home and it's docked and I'm using the Pro Controller. I haven't used the Joy-Con grip too much because I have the Pro Controller. But I have played with it before just to try it out, and
it's comfortable for long times. That's how I usually play it at home. I don't have the Pro Controller, because I've tried it, of course, handheld mode at work because they let us, and that's amazing. And then I've tried it just sitting on the table and just having the Joy-Con separate or in the dock, and of course TV mode. And I found it pretty comfortable in every way with Zelda. Mm-hmm. The only time that the Joy-Cons are not comfortable is like I'm playing Fast RMX on there, and that's a little bit more high intensity of a game, and my hands cramp up when I have it in just handheld mode, so I need some sort of a grip for it.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's perfectly fine. If you want the Pro Controller, it's great from what Joey says, but it's not necessary because the normal grip is fine.
It's fine, yeah. The primary benefit for it is that the lower the D-pad for the left Joy-Con and the
right Joy-Con,
the thumbstick on it.
Yeah.
The Pro Controller has them within the range of motion for the thumbs. you know, whereas they're vertically aligned on the JoyCons, which can get frustrating for some people over time.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed a problem with it, like handheld mode, but you know, I have heard some people complain.
It is a little out of the way. It is a little harder to use than, like, say, an Xbox controller, which is what the Pro controller basically is.
Oh yeah. Well, it's actually more like I consider it more closer along. Well, yeah, it's essentially a Xbox controller.
The best comparison.
But, yeah,
as far as the layout,
the layout and all that, it's best comparison. You know, hardcore Nintendo fans could argue that it's like GameCube controller did it first. But
yeah, and the game controller is an amazing controller, I really do enjoy it. But yeah,
as far as the screen resolution goes, I mean, it's very impressive for a handheld. You know, 720p. Docked mode, it scales up to 900p.
Mm-hmm.
But
the settings say 1080.
Yeah,
in the docked mode, when you go into the actual settings and set to resolution, it does say 1080.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so regardless, like, the thing is, it's like, I've heard people say, oh, it's not as powerful as the Xbox or the PlayStation. It's like, it doesn't have to be.
Nope.
The thing is, it's like, the one thing I've always appreciated and loved about Nintendo is that graphics don't mean anything to them, you know? You know, granted, Zelda is one of the nicest looking games I've ever seen, and it, much like Wind Waker, will continue to look amazing years to come.
Yeah, I love how Wind Waker on the GameCube, which once again was one of not the highest powered console during its time, Wind Waker won best graphics of the year when that came out, and it's still competitive to today's graphics. Still looks beautiful.
But that's the one thing. Is like people say, oh, the realistic graphics. The problem with those is that as soon as the next gen of realistic graphics comes out, today's realistic graphics will look like turd. You know, like that's how it always is. But you know, the cartoony style, the cel-shaded style of Nintendo loves to employ, makes their games seem to endure longer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so the thing is like they make their games look great without needing the super high def resolution in which we see every stupid little hair shift. You know,
Yeah.
I've always cared more about the gameplay than I care about the graphics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, granted, nice graphics are nice to look at, but I'm playing a game because I enjoy its story, not I enjoy the way it looks.
Yeah, and that's kind of like...
Well, you still enjoy the way it looks.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Nintendo doesn't make their games look bad, they just don't focus on them.
Not as much, no.
Yeah, and it's for us, like, us going into the Switch, we fully knew that going in. It's like, we were just, like, for me, it's just, I love the idea of a basically, as I've tried to explain this to people who've never heard of the Switch or have not seen it, I said it's like it's a console tablet hybrid.
I don't know how you couldn't have heard of it.
Well,
It's been on every major news network.
Yeah.
Well,
talked
okay,
about.
actually,
when it was first announced, like
True,
how to
true.
describe, because when you say, oh, there's a new Nintendo console out, and trust me, we were at GameStop at the midnight release, and someone came by and say, what's going on?
That is true.
And then they asked, what the heck's going on? And it's like, oh, the new Nintendo console. There's a new Nintendo console?
I think they were razzing us, though.
probably.
Either way, it's like still, it's like, there's still the section in there, but that's not important. Back on topic.
But when the thing I find really impressive is that at mine and Mike's work, we work together. One thing I've noticed is that there are several people there that are actually hardcore. Like, if they're gamers, they're PC gamers. They don't own a console. They don't care for consoles.
Or they haven't had one for a long time.
They haven't had one for a long time, ever since PC gaming kind of made its resurgence thanks to Steam. But they got the Switch,
Yeah.
More than half the people on the floor at our work have Nintendo Switches or are planning to get a Nintendo Switch with their next paycheck.
Thanks to us.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Partially thanks to us if they weren't already planning it, but...
I think I single-handedly convinced 2 people on the day I brought in the Switch, right after it released, to buy it that day. And then one of our bosses got it, and he's a complete PC Master Race kind of guy, and he's been watching plays of Zelda and stuff, and he got it.
And I remember talking to him about the Switch before it came out, and he said, "No, I'm not going to get it. I'm not into consoles. I'm not into Nintendo." boom, he's got the Switch.
Right. But the thing is I'm primarily a PC gamer. I mean, I recently, spent $700 upgrading my computer, and, I absolutely love doing that and working on it. But the portability of the Switch is what sold me on it. And, of course, I love Nintendo, and I love The Legend of Zelda, and Legend of Zelda definitely sold me on it as well.
Oh, yeah.
But the portability just really appealed to me, to be able to do that, outside of me at my computer, because that's very restrictive as far as where I can play it and where I can do something like that.
Yeah. And that's how I usually that's how I primarily play it, because usually I'm watching a video on YouTube or researching something or waiting for a video to render. It's just something I just love to just take out on it and just be able to play, and also just kind of the thing where it's like I'm playing is different from like handheld, where there's that handheld version of a game compared to a console game. Like there's no separation. Like a Switch version of a game is going to be this, outside from the visual difference with bigger screen, it's just so much fun. They're just like I can play Zelda.
It's still a full
game. This reminds me of something I wanted to tell you about.
Go on.
That stand that I ordered.
Yeah.
I'm not going to need it. So if it's already ordered and basically already been shipped, I'm just going to give it to you.
No, it's not been shipped. Which is another point I'm glad you mentioned. It seems like a lot of, in terms of online orders, I'm not speaking probably local orders. If you wanted an accessory for the Nintendo Switch, a lot of time, even if you're pre-ordered, a lot of the accessories have been coming out and saying, all right, you're going to get this a month from launch. And it seems like, and I noticed when, of course, granted by like a lot of people that have been, very up in arms, where it's like it was kind of the point. Like at first, like, oh, I pre-ordered some accessories for Joey because he was on Amazon.
Because he has Twitch Prime and I don't. And
Twitch Prime? He ordered things from Twitch? You can do that?
Amazon,
tell me, Jesse.
Wait, hang on. So, Mike, does that mean you'll stream more? So yes, I have Amazon Prime, and so to order these kind of things. Like even with that, I got an email later on because I first kind of wondered, like, gosh, I wonder why these accessories not been delivered, because I'm so used to like when you pre-order, you get it the day of, and then I get an email, it's like, you will get this by March 30th or April 27th, and we pre-ordered these, and it's like, holy crap! So that's kind of at the moment where it's like, eventually, if I wanted to get a case, so it's like luckily I just found a GameStop that had one.
Yeah. But for me, I actually wanted a Legend of Zelda case. It's not the Sheikah Slate one, which I really wish I could have gotten,
That'd
but
be really cool.
Trying to find the special edition or the master edition of the Legend of Zelda is like pulling teeth. Good luck. You know?
I've only seen like twice it like come available thanks to
and they last for all of 10 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
1 minute at most, or assuming you can even get it to cart, because a lot of times like I get it to the cart stage, but I can't get the checkout stage, and then I just get errors. So it seems like it always gets to that moment where it's like I noticed that was just, and I don't know the exact answer, so it's just one of those things where like they had a certain number and then they saw the pre-orders and then they went, oh shoot.
I mean, I went to local Toys R Us and they had a case and some amiibos, and I just got it then, so no having to wait. I waited less time than them, and they
pre-ordered it.
They pre-ordered it,
Yeah, and just like one of
although this isn't, I just got just a kind of a kind of hard case.
Same here.
For it, and that just it's.
See, I just
wanted protection. I didn't need it to be fancy.
I actually got the blue and white Zelda starter kit case, and. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not complaining about it. Money well spent, but
it's just still one of those kind of things where eventually Joey got his case. I eventually made mine because we had to get locally, and it just seems like holy crap! My heart goes out to for pre-order accessories, and it's just like one of those things where it's like I've yet to see an official statement of what's going on. So it's this very up interpretation of why accessories have almost become as hard to find as the console itself. Assuming you're not going for places where you're getting scalped on prices.
And, the older generation Legend of Zelda amiibos.
Yeah.
Good luck. If you want to find Link as a Smash Bros. Amiibo, if you're not willing to pay $80, you're going to wait for a while.
Yeah, and like for me is like because I remember like when amiibos became a thing, I'm full on amiibo hunter, and I proudly still hold that title. And it's just one of those things where I just went on eBay just to kind of look, see what's there, and I saw like all the Legend of Zelda amiibos for like that were meant for like Smash Brothers go for like a certain amount of money, and it's like, and for me like I understand why, but it's one of those things like I remember when this was like like for like a Marth amiibo for like a villager amiibo going for these prices. Now it's like I see villager going for like $10, so it's like it's just like a reverse.
You should,
and
you
Link
should
used
take
to be like
a small video of your little collection up here to show them.
All 65 of them.
Yes, all 65.
probably no, actually more now because you got the Guardian amiibo.
That's including the Guardian amiibo 65.
No, I thought Falco was. 65.
I miscounted.
So you didn't have 64 before.
Yeah, so that was...
You were under 64 a lie. For shame.
I was off by one.
You were living a lie.
For those... So, yes. For the time being, I was living a lie. I come clean. I have lied to all of you. Because I miscounted by 1.
You're gonna get so many unsubscribes, man.
I know. I can picture the comments now. How dare you?
Yep.
We trusted you.
Quindle will be leading the charge. I
Oh
guarantee
no! So I do confront. Yes, I made fully explain. I made a fake sad news Twitter video saying that, I got 65 amiibos, and then after I got the Guardian one, did another recount. I like went, oh shoot,
now I have 65.
Yeah, now I have 65 amiibos, but still the point just like I retract that statement at the time of the recording. Now it holds water. So I almost feel like being at a podium right now. I'm apologizing.
Yeah, it's like that. That's like that video for the Kerbals. It's like I was the one behind it.
Yeah,
I apologize. We're gonna throw him in a cell, and he's gonna do. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So again, it's
and the prison cell is going to be numbered 63.
no.
Oh, yes. In a half.
Yeah.
0.95.
All right, and okay. So there's our view of the Switch.
Now let's get on to Zelda, which is basically the hot item on this.
It's good. Next.
Thank you for watching.
God, that's a huge spike in the audio.
Have fun with that, Jesse. No, but man. Okay, so Legend of Zelda has always been my favorite game series for like as long as I've been a gamer. Even like when I shifted more and being more of a PC gamer, Legend of Zelda has always been my favorite game series. And for the longest time, it was Majora's Mask, which was my first Zelda game that I consciously remember playing. That was my favorite. Breath of the Wild has dethroned that.
Can you please, for the emphasis on why?
Well, okay, so the thing is that this game really does kind of break the mold of the Zelda convention, you know? The Zelda convention has always kind of largely been, like, granted, the core mechanics are there, and by the way, preface on this part, spoilers, we may go into spoilers a little bit. We're going to avoid it ruining the ending, we won't talk about that, because these two haven't actually beaten the game yet.
I would hurt you if you started.
But
did you hear that? He may hurt you. There's a threat if there's ever one.
Oh God, no. But no, but there will be like some like mid-game possible spoilers that I may blurt. But so preface warning on that. But the basic structure's there. The whole save the princess, save the world kind of thing. But the way about going about it is drastically different. This game. It actually kind of goes back to the original Legend of Zelda, where basically, here's a sword, go. And that's it. They don't tell you where to go. They don't tell you where you can go. Okay, so this game does kind of tell you where to go a little bit.
But that's mostly to teach you the mechanics of, like, this is how the world works.
Yeah, it's kind of how the world works. Your next point of interest for the main story is over here. How you get there? Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, Mike and I went through the main, like, the path that went there. I kind of went, like, zigzagging because I was exploring the region leading there. And I don't know if you...
I pretty much went over towards like there's a village that directs you towards near the beginning of the game, the Sheikah village, and I went to there, and then I went over into the Zora area, and I explored.
Well, now we're talking just like heading to Kakariko. What was your path going to Kakariko? Did you go like straight there, or
I pretty much followed the path. I did go kind of zigzag around the path and found shrines, and I grabbed the tower and stuff like that. I pretty much stuck to the path on that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, but Jesse here, what was your path going to Kakariko? You didn't even follow the path at all.
No, I basically, my mentality, you can blame me, just, whenever I play RPGs, I don't know what mentality takes over, but it's like, when I'm presented a path, I'd be like, can I make it easier? Like, I just, a lot of times where it's like, I went on to, the best way I can say, like, I basically used the glider a lot, where just basically I just get to high places and just glided and just, like, so I could avoid a lot of the terrain. And that's kind of one of those main things where just, like, I keep forgetting the person's name of the one to get the Kokoro seeds. Like,
Hestu.
Yeah, like, when Joy looked by, it's like, I passed him. And
Yep.
it's like, and you said, like, you literally yelled, he is along the path, and it's like, I found a way.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Breath of the Wild, though, is that there are roads all over the map, the roads that you can follow that will lead you to your destination everywhere, Yeah. Every main point in the game can be found by following a road. Except that's not how you really play the game. This game really is the kind of game that if you see something, you're going to wander over there, and at no cliff or river or stream is going to get in your way, because they give you before you even leave the beginning area, they give you all the tools you need to get to that area. Climbing the mountain to get over the mountain that leads into the village, rather than following the path around, that's doable and perfectly valid, Yeah. Granted, you might missed a few side quests, but the thing is that he had his own experience doing that. And, oftentimes they'll throw things in those kind of paths, And the thing is I find it very satisfyingly blended its openness with having content fill it,
Yeah.
Like, this world is quite massive in terms of, Hyrule. This actually feels like a country,
Yeah.
Like large spurts of land with towns interspaced, settlements, and, various terrain option. There's the volcanic mountains, there's the snowy mountains to the north, the ocean and the beaches to the southeast, and the desert to the southwest. Sorry, the beaches in the southeast. But, and the open plains, the badlands, all of it, there's so many different terrain options, and the massiveness of the world, it's all so fluid and, flows together so well, it really feels like a country, how you would imagine this mythical, magical world to be.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's what they kind of noticed, I just kind of took a reflect upon when I watched Patrick Static play it, when I watched Joey play it, and then when I played it, and it's like, we all went on different paths, but the destination was the same.
Not really.
In terms of Kokoria.
Okay.
And it's like each one of us had a different way of getting there. And that's what I found fascinating, that, we got to the same village, but just how we got there was different.
Yep.
And that's kind of an awesome thing to talk about, because a lot of times where, like I said, it's almost like water cooler stories, where it's like, yeah, we talk about how we got there, but followed by our destination is as good as a story as well, rather than just saying, oh, I got to the village. It's like, but how we got there was also fun too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And another cool thing is that you don't even have to go to the village. You can get off the plateau and go in the complete opposite direction, and can explore and complete the dungeons before you ever reach Kakariko. You don't ever even have to look at Kakariko. Granted, if you want to, go for the story, find Link's memories and that kind of stuff, find out what really happened 100 years ago, that's what you got to do. And, that's actually kind of an interesting thing, is, it's timeline placement. One thing, so it's debated at this point, is it in the Downfall or in the Child Link timelines? people have basically written off of the idea of it being in the Adult Link timeline because Wind Waker didn't happen as far as this game is, It's like, so it's pretty much child or downfall timeline. I'm personally more in the child timeline group myself. But the thing is that at this late in the game, it doesn't really matter. This is a Hyrule, which is like 10,100 years after a future event in one of the timelines. 10,000 years. This is like way in the future, way past Twilight Princess, if that's the game, if that's the timeline. Way past, what's the last one in the Downfall timeline? I think it's Zelda 2?
Don't know. I don't have the timeline in front of me.
I don't know. Well, I'm not sure which. I don't have it in front of me either. But it's way past it. And the interesting thing is like a lot of things you kind of recognize, but many other things you don't. Like, for example, the thing is like Hylia is the primary goddess of the land. There is no mention except for like the locations and the dragons of the three golden goddesses. No mention at all. If any mention is made, they are referred to as the old gods.
Yes.
The Triforce symbol appears as a power once in the game. And I will not tell you where. But it appears only once. But everywhere else, the statue of the goddess Hylia is prevalent in every single town. Every single town and city, even one that you help build, it has the goddess of the statue of the goddess Hylia. So it kind of wonders. It's like, wait, this is a future event. Why are people referring to Hylia again rather than? And even Hylia is kind of not regarded as the chief goddess anymore. Like, nobody really believes that thing anymore. It's directly mentioned in the game. One of the NPCs mentions. Nobody really pays attention to.
In the Gerudo area, that old lady, you mean?
Yes, actually. Yeah, I think it's her that mentions it.
Yeah, she says, nobody really looks at that anymore. In fact, they avoid it. So I sit here because I don't want to be bothered. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, she also mentioned, like, she keeps it company kind of thing,
Yeah.
Like, and she's an older Gerudo, but it's rather interesting. It's like, and so you kind of wonder, why did Hylians decide to switch back to worshipping the goddess Hylia and not the three golden goddesses? And, and why are they kind of forgetting it now? Good. And I actually have a theory as to why.
Please, share.
My theory is that the Hylian royal family kind of pushed aside the whole idea of the three golden goddesses. Because if you think about it, the three golden goddesses, the primary core belief following that is the power of the Triforce. Mm-hmm. And so the thing is that the rumors of the Triforce is what drew Ganon in the first place to their kingdom. That's what drew it. And then later on, the power, we don't know what happened to the power. For all we know, it may have been lost in Twilight. If this happens in the child timeline, we don't know what happened to the Triforce of power. Even at that point in the Hylian lore, it's like people believed in golden goddesses, but nobody knew about really the Triforce. Ganon had been given a piece by some trick of the gods. They never really, explained how he got the piece in the child timeline. Mm-hmm. Link was born with it. And Zelda was born with her shard, but
she inherited it.
Yeah, she inherited it, and Link probably inherited it too from, because he's the direct descendant of the child of the hero of time. But but Ganon died with his Triforce shard. His Triforce shard left him, and there's no explanation as to what happened to it. And so it's very possible that the gods took it, and the Triforce pieces, like the power of courage and the power of wisdom, just kind of became ingrained in their respective bloodlines.
Right, because they never even mention that really, like, the only mention, minor spoiler, the only real mention of like power, power and wisdom, and really not even courage is the shrines of the respective powers. And it's interesting when they get to courage, they kind of just go off. They don't say that it's the
To be fair,
power of
courage has always been the least mentioned power.
True. I think it's interesting that they mention the other ones very prevalently. That so and so visited the shrine of power and wisdom, but then they got to the other one and they didn't even mention its name or what power it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so the entire concept of the Triforce as a power seems to have vanished from Hyrule, and so it almost seems like it seems like it's kind of like the royal family may have hidden the power, the hidden dimension of the Triforce. It's like no longer a legend that is openly spoken, and instead, and for a while, it seems like magic for the most part is largely dead in Hyrule. There is no magic powers,
Fire rods and stuff.
Well, yeah, but that's more like technology at this point, It's hard to say because it's like, well, no, the item descriptions actually specifically mentioned that they were forged in their element, and they were kind of, it's more like technology, imbued into this technology kind of thing, or
I'll not have to read the thing again.
Yeah, the flavor text is a bit vague on them, but
I have it here. I'll do it silently.
But magic.
We lost Mike.
Magic as a power, where people can wield magic, like in the olden times of Hyrule, don't seem to be a thing, In fact, the most prevalent thing is the technology of the Sheikah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to look it up right now, but I don't believe that the fire rods and stuff are considered technology, because technology's pretty well defined in this game. The Guardians, the Sheikah, high technology, and all of that.
So that's a lot of other story. Well, there's one thing I just also want to touch on. It's in terms of just gameplay and just
gameplay.
Your opinions on the gameplay of the game. Now we have a huge chunk about the story.
Done.
No. Okay, so
I want you to give reviews now.
Okay, so as
I will actually,
I will happily say that Breath of the Wild is my favorite game. Period. I will preface by saying this. However, I will also admit that it is not perfect. There are flaws in it, and probably the biggest flaw that people have noticed. However, it sounds like Nintendo is probably going to make a patch for it, and there is a do-it-yourself fix for it. Is the frame rate drops. In high action areas, especially Death Mountain.
Yeah.
In Death Mountain, when you're fighting moblins, there's a lot of particle effects going on, and it really kicks
and the really
Switch's
rainy
ass.
Areas too.
Yeah. Although Breath of the Wild was the most really noticeable one.
Clarification on the fire rod. I have it up here on my Switch. It says a magical rod that can cast fireballs, crafted by an ancient magician.
Ah.
So it is magic.
Okay.
It is not technology, but if we look at something like the Guardian Sword, a sword often wielded by Guardian Scouts, its blue energy blade is produced by an ancient technology.
Okay.
So they clearly define technology and magic in this game. So magic does exist.
Okay. It's just not wielded by people so much anymore.
In fact, the only place to get these magic rods, fire, ice, and lightning, are from the Wizrobes.
That's true.
Which are magicians and magic users.
Yeah, they're magical monsters. Yeah.
Magical monsters.
Yeah.
So, not...
Okay.
Thank you for that fact check.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good clarification. So, magic is still a known thing, but it is very, rare. There's the Wizrobes and Zelda. That is it. Period.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then
a most prevalent thing in this game that seems magical are the Sheikah technology. That's really it. And it's interesting. It's so kind of my earlier point. Sorry, we'll get back to the gameplay thing in a minute.
Please go on ahead.
So the whole thing about the Triforce being hidden, if people began to not see the power of the gods prevalent in the world anymore. Mm-hmm. The only power prevalent was the bloodline of the goddess, or the Hylian royal family, which are descended from Hylia, and whether or not the people knew that the Hylian royal family was descended from Hylia, or not, the thing is that the power of the goddess Hylia is about the only magical power known left in the world.
No. Mipha's Grace.
Oh, yeah.
So there are 4 heroes that took place in the battle for this before the whole ruined thing happened, and you end up unlocking some power from them later in the game, and those are very magical.
That is true. Yeah, but however, their powers are actually considered strange to their people.
True.
You know, Mipha's power, like the power of healing.
That was known, but just very extremely rare.
Yeah, it's
almost
just like it's like you have this very strange power. You know, it was a rare power even amongst the Zoras, and she was actually beloved for her power. And Daruk, the Goron champion, his
defensive ability.
His defensive ability was what
you generate, that is, magical. Come on.
Yeah. So okay, I'll grant you that. Yes, magic did exist, but it's not prevalent, I'd say.
No, I wouldn't say it's prevalent either. I'm just saying that magic does still exist in the world.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Magic still exists in the world. It's just...
Hell, fairies are magic. The great fairies as well.
However, they had lost a lot of their power until Link restored them. Which supports my previous theories on the rupees being created by magic. Because the great fairies gain their power by you giving them rubies.
Yep.
So... I'd always thought that the rubies in Hyrule, the reason why you could cut grass and find rubies there, is because they were formed by ambient magical energy, just concentrated form. And the more magic is the higher value of the ruby.
But they still were dependent on people actually going to the shrines and giving them rupees.
Yes, but
it's still magic, because they're not using that as currency, they're using that for power.
Exactly. So the great fairies can take the rubies given as offerings, and take their magic from the rubies and use it. That returns them to power.
Right.
So that is kind of like, okay, that really supports the idea that the rubies are magical gems, and they were so prevalent in the world that, Hylians used them as currency, and with magic no longer be as ambient and flowing in the world, you don't get rubies by cutting grass anymore, but enough rubies spawn that they kind of form like the economy of the world.
Still off topic. Sorry, Jesse. Another thing just to support that theory is, didn't you need rupees of certain colors to make potions in Skyward Sword? Use rupees to make, like, there's a shop there that you gave ingredients to and they made potions.
I don't recall rubies being used for that.
I don't recall either.
I know you've spent rubies to get it. However, a magical item that did require rubies is the magic armor in Twilight Princess. That devoured rubies.
Yes, it
and
did.
more rubies if you got hit. Meaning, like, it's not like a charge slot, where you're shoveling rubies. It's more like it's drawing power from the rubies as sort of like a battery.
I just want to see Link like with 2 big pouches of rubies wearing the armor and just like shoving it down the front, like he gets hit and you just see him like pull big handfuls of rubies and just stuff them down his armor.
I just like, and if the battle gets too hot, he has to like have like these big bags, just like on his shoulders, just running. It's like my investment.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's actually something I've always believed. But gameplay. Sorry, to an actual review.
Tangents. Sorry.
It's wonderful. Go on. It's inspired by Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So okay. So has its issues. The frame rate drops and. And another issue I kind of have, sorry, again, a little bit of spoiler, but, I wish there were more to the story. What they have in there is superb. Don't get me wrong. Like, I fell in love with the Zora's Domain. I loved the entire story of that area, but the Rito area was rather lackluster.
Their story, I wish there was more of it. The story seems very condensed, and the parts of it that you have are very good, but there's not enough of it. But then again, it's a very open world, and once again, it's breaking the mold of the Zelda games, because in Zelda games, you start playing it, and you think, you're playing a story. You're playing a predetermined story as opposed to playing your own story.
And to be fair, it actually does more exposition than almost any other Zelda game prior.
True.
You know, there's not, like, except for maybe Skyward Sword. I think Skyward Sword is probably the most, like, narrative story in this franchise. Mm-hmm. You know, it had, like, it felt more like a storybook, kind of, you know? It's like Link went this path, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's not very much deviation you can truly do in that. But this one, it's like, it was, compared to most other games, it had the most narrative, it had the kind of, most exposition, but the thing is that what they did was so well done that it almost felt like what was missing was more exemplified. You know, it was more, it was more clearly missing, and, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fantastic. And like I said, I fell in love with the Zora's Domain area. That was by far my favorite part of the game. Yeah. But, other than that though, it was fantastic. I mean, I never felt bored. There may not be that many enemy types there, but the thing is that every area, I mean, monsters were laid out in different kind of patterns, different strategies based on your location and your environment.
And they can still be challenging, even late game. Like, if you pick up that game, you're going to die, like, within 5 minutes of getting off the plateau guaranteed.
Oh, you'll die on the plateau.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that too.
Because granted, because we're, like, for me, like, going in, it's like, I'm so used to the Zelda formula, and just to see someone take, when you start with 3 hearts, so seeing someone who could take 2 hearts in 1 hit, it's like,
yeah. Even all of them, there's like there's the Derelict Guardian on there's 2 of them actually, 2 Derelict Guardians, and if they hit you once, you're dead.
Yeah.
Period. No, I mean, you can survive maybe a glancing shot, but if they hit you dead on with their Guardian Beam, nope, you die.
But the one thing I love though, there's no over-dramatic death scene. It's just, game over, continue.
Yep.
There's no, like, because I always say, like, gosh, Wind Waker's, like, the one that's, like, good God. Because
it's like,
he wanders, he goes forward, goes back, goes forward a little bit, and then just, pah! And then the text drop. This one is just see the game over text and just continue. And
then you watch your body smolder because you're on fire.
Yeah.
And even fairies, which you can get in this game, it's like you get hit and you're instantly revived. It doesn't do like that drop fairy revive scene. Yeah. It's just like, 5 hearts, there you go, get back up and fight.
So that's what more forgiving. It would be a lot more annoying if they did the whole, like in past Zeldas, where there's just almost pretty much an overdramatic death scene, and then
there's not a break in the action. What we're saying, especially with fairies.
So that's a good thing. So again, it's one of those things a lot of people hear, like, oh, you die a lot, so it's like, so that usually that would scare people away. It's like, no, to keep that as motivation.
But another nice thing is they are, in that regard, they are generous with autosaves.
Yes, they are.
There's an autosave in Zelda,
and it is,
and you can save you can save yourself if you're not sure how far back, because you can at any time pause, go to the menu and save, and it's not perfect.
Almost any time.
Okay,
there are areas where you cannot save, and you basically know if you die in here, you gotta restart the entire area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a sneaky area. I won't say where or anything. There's a sneaky area. And you can't save in there.
You can't save on Eventide Island either.
Yeah, there's an island where you have to survive with no armor, no weapons or anything. You have to kind of start from scratch.
Yep.
To complete a challenge. But yeah, there's a few places you can't save. But besides that, as far as like the open world and stuff, if you're not sure, like you come across a big group of bokoblins or something, you can save right before that.
Yep.
And then go in, and then if you die, it'll revert to that point.
Yep.
So that's really nice.
Another nice thing is that there are so many ways. Like, one thing I was pleasantly surprised, I kept finding new things to do and ways to fight in the game later on. Mm-hmm. Like, one thing the game never tells you can do is so Octoroks reappear in this game and they drop octoballoons. And one of the funnest things you can do that they never tell you can do.
Actually, they do in one of the loading screens.
Yeah, they do, and that's how I found out about it.
Hints.
But, yeah, it's a hint.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always appear. It's random if it appears. And that's the only mention it does.
But anyway.
But there are bombs you can do, or you can use your own bomb. You can attach a balloon to it and float it over the enemies, and then shoot the balloon, and it will drop the bomb onto the enemy encampment. And you can sow chaos. You can also like snipe them from afar and stealth them, you know, or wait till they're all asleep, take out the sentries, and then sneak up and assassinate all of them. Or you can try and go guns blazing and just try to charge in. Good luck, unless you have Urbosa's Fury.
Which, by the way, that's kind of part of my other point I was trying to make before we got distracted, is that even late game, early encounter like a group of goblins or something, can still be dangerous. The first ones you see, like the red ones, not as much unless they get the jump on you or something.
Yeah.
But they'll usually throw in later game in even the beginning areas, different colored ones that are more challenging.
Yep.
And those ones are like the white and black ones. The white ones more so now are still dangerous, and they've killed me on several occasions. I have 17 hearts now. You know, as opposed to the 3 that you start out with.
Yep.
You know, when I have full metal armor and everything else, and you know, I'll miss time an attack, and they'll smack me and do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, and you know they have wide ranges of what they can do. You know, some will approach you and attack you head on. Others will like attack you with rocks and bows. Lizalfos have like a spitting attack they can do to hit you from afar.
Annoying as hell.
You know, I mean, it's insane the amount of things. And one of the funnest things that can happen, and I actually like laughed. I died because I was laughing too hard about it. Moblins can pick up like bokoblins and throw them at you.
Really?
Yes. And I saw it happen, and I was laughing, and I literally died from it.
So this giant creature picks up a lesser one and just throws it. I love it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I've never had that happen.
Oh yeah, it happened once, and it's
I
like
imagine...
it's like that can happen. That's amazing.
And I saw like one person who was just they call it bomb cheesing, where basically you run in front of an enemy, you pull out one of your bombs and drop it behind you, and it rolls towards the enemies, and you just blow it up. One person had a case where the bombs were chasing him, so he was just doing cheese bomb. One of them kicked the bomb back at him, and he detonated it.
That's another thing. The enemies learn. If you use one tactic against them too often, they will learn it. Like late game, ancient arrows, the arrows that you see in the trailers, you know, the glowing blue arrows. Those, if you hit a guardian in their weak spot, they will one-shot kill them. But the thing is that later on, because every guardian I met, I'd do that to, they'd start zigzagging to avoid it. They were smart, and it took me, like, sometimes I wasted, like, 2 arrows because they dodged it. Or they managed to deflect it, so I hit another part of them and didn't one-shot kill them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh no.
Yeah.
I still love, speaking of guardians, I was on my horse in Hyrule Field, and I found a guardian, and I was able to get up almost point blank to him without me seeing. And then I just slowly drawn my bow with a guardian arrow and waited for him to turn around. He turned around, and he turned red, and like boop, before he could even start charging.
I remember well before
I
remember the first time I fought a guardian. It was fairly early on. And there was just a random guardian in my path, and I was on my way to a shrine that I saw in the distance, and I'm like, damn it, you are in my way. And I had actually recently gotten a fairly powerful sword. And so I ended up fighting it with bomb arrows and the sword. Granted, it destroyed the sword, you know, because durability is a thing. But I was so, like, satisfied because the bomb arrows had, like, knocked it, like, back, and I'd gone and was, like, hacking it with my sword, and I, like, ripped off its legs.
Really?
Like, one at a time. Yeah, if you, like, hit them with, like, a great sword with a few hits, you'll, like, break their legs off.
The guardian weapons work the best on
The guardian weapons work the best, but, you know, I was using a two-handed sword, the edge of duality on it, and it just, like, ripped it off, and it, like, had, like... And the way the frames were, like, acting and the, you know, the impact that you felt and heard, it was so satisfying.
Yeah, you can pull it's like pulling the legs off of a spider.
Wow.
Yeah, you can leg them completely. And
yeah.
It's very satisfying.
Oh, it's so satisfying because you feel the impact. And you feel like you're taking down, slowly, you're whittling down this fearsome creature. and it is. I was like, I fell in love with the game again when I first did that, and even when I went to Hyrule Castle where there's like tons of guardians, half of them I fought with a sword because I'm just like you know,
because that's a verb.
Because it was just primal adrenaline rush, you know? It was just fun. And
please define that verb when it gets to that point.
And this is a picture of Joy charging with a sword.
Og means to, well, og.
The
power.
The NPCs are interesting, you know, the characters, even the non-important ones. You find some really colorful and interesting characters in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of them like bananas.
Wait.
I'm not.
He is not kidding.
I'm not.
I just like that.
I'm not going to explain that at all because you will find out.
It is like one of those things that just as a point for you to make. It just like to me as like
it's an important point. I'm not explaining it though.
Just but a person who's in still, I do consider myself in like not I'm like mid game. It's like I've not approached that, but it's like one of those things like for a point. It's like in my head. It's like I will discover this.
Yes,
but it's one of those things like, what have you done? I'm gonna be looking for. I'm gonna be going around to NPCs like, tell me where the bananas are.
You will find out. You will find out.
You will find out.
And again, that's what I think is amazing with this game. It's just like it's full of people sharing their experiences and stories, and that's why I think this is why this particular Zelda benefits highly because it gets people talking, sharing their experiences, and in fact, that's why a lot of like now there's a lot of people just making YouTube videos of like saying like this is what I found, this is how you beat this puzzle, and all that kind of sense. Where
don't watch those.
No. Honestly, it's like I watched some of them when I've already gone through them, and one of the most common shrine puzzles that people like get stuck on is there's this kind of like ball rolling maze.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the path I found to beat it, it's like it's not the one the internet is considering. The internet is going nuts over the whole like, okay, you can flip the maze over and just use the flat part on the back.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not what I did. I just turned it so that the ball skipped the entire maze and was in the final ramp area, and then I rolled it off. Yeah. That's where I did it.
I went through the maze normally on it.
Yeah. And again, Joe, if you really wanted, you could share that. It's like, look what I did.
Yeah,
and it's just like, kind of mostly
I don't have a way to capture it.
Yeah, but still,
I need to buy all this shit.
It's one of those things where it's still like, that's what is inspiring. It's just one of those things, look what I did, look what you can do. And especially, some people are finding very interesting ways to speedrun some things. Where I saw someone, they were trying to get over a lock. The combination was genius. They basically, they froze a barrel, dropped a bomb, series of bombs, and used stasis, and they're just waiting for it to launch, and this barrel launched them over the wall. So they bypassed a complete puzzle. And it's like, they used the tools they had, or some people I've seen like they use use stasis on a boulder in the very beginning areas, use them out so they can go super long and be able to get to an area which normally, if you didn't have the glider, you would have died, and they just hanged on to that barrel, and they held onto that boulder and just hold on, and they landed just fine. It's like, this is amazing, and it's just stuff like that where like people are using their tools and just again sharing that, and that's why I think it's kind of awesome about this particular one, where it's just like people are finding out stuff, sharing it, and it's just becoming that kind of a game where it's like kind of like I said earlier, just water cooler experience where it's like, look what I did, look what I found.
It's interesting at our work, it actually is a water cooler experience.
Yeah. Because
a lot of the people there have it, and it's like, I found this gigantic horse somewhere. It's like, wow, where? I found a skeletal horse. Holy shit. There's a lot of horse talk. So yeah, it is a water cooler thing, and actually, me and Joe have all of the amiibos for Breath of the Wild, and those have become our office's community amiibos, and they come by our desks every day. People that have it and scan them in.
Yeah, and you're just using those amiibos.
And end up talking about it.
Yeah, and just the amiibo support is basically you were given items, and
they're like cheat codes.
Yes, essentially, and that's also kind of like talked to these guys earlier, where some people, there's a separation towards people who've done the speedruns. When you use the Super Smash Brothers Link amiibo, you have a chance to get an Epona, and people have been using that to get in that early game to help with it. And then it's just been, I discussed with them, what they feel about it, and we both agree, it's just a separate speedrun, where some people say up front, that's cheating.
Yep. So it's like amiibo run, or, because it's like, there are various games that have kind of like a way you can, it's kind of like a glitchless speed run of a game.
Yeah.
Do you glitch or do you not glitch?
There you go.
And that defines, how the speed run is gone. There are different speed records for a speed run of Ocarina of Time. There's a different category for glitched, non-glitched, and 100%.
Yeah.
There are different categories, all three of them. And so that's what I think will probably occur for Breath of the Wild.
Speed running 100% Breath of the Wild, holy shit.
Okay, so
you'd be devoting like 3 or 4 weeks, like non-stop.
Okay, so here's the thing: is that I get the feeling that 100%, they will classify the definition when they get to that point as all memories, all dungeons, Master Sword.
But you get something for the Korok seeds.
Yes, but the thing is that
that's part of the game.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that when they talk about like the 100% runs, they will talk about that 100% story. Not. I
guess 100% and completionist could be defined as different things.
Yeah, and
yes.
and also whenever the DLC comes out, will they acknowledge, plus DLC runs, or will they just say like DLC is included?
I think that largely depends on so the DLC in the summer, there will be runs for that, hard mode,
Yeah.
which I am looking forward to, because this game is already hard. What are they going to do? And I'm curious, and I want to know.
You have to punch your enemies.
I think a good contender for what's going to make it harder, so going to make it so that there's like a hunger meter.
Oh, hunger meter.
You have.
I never thought of that.
You have to cook and you have to eat. So
I
you have
would
to go
love
hunting.
that personally. I think that would be amazing. Where there's actually like you have to eat.
There's a need to actually go hunting and collect food and stuff. Because right now, like I have a ton of food, like just uncooked food and stuff that I always have a surplus of, and I never need to actually go hunting. Never actually need to.
Yep.
Really, I just kind of gather it as I go.
Early game, it's a must. You have to hunt.
Yeah.
Because you have to get these things in order to survive, You need the status effects. You need the health boost. You need the stamina boost. You need the, health regeneration and stamina regeneration. You need these in order to do a lot of things, And that's fun, though, because that's what enables you to go to any area of the game, starting out, and do it, Granted, there are clearly areas that are intended for later game. They are intended. But one thing you cannot do. Okay, I can think of one thing that you cannot do straight out the gate. You cannot run and get the Master Sword.
Yeah. Nope. So the Master Sword, you do have to have a. should I even say it?
I don't know. It's like
I'm not going to say it.
Okay, so I will say this: the Master Sword
has requirements.
It has the. I love the effect it does of. Okay, so every time there's been a Master Sword, there's been a challenge, like a prequel challenge to getting it. And usually these have been get these medallions. Or
solve this tile puzzle.
Solve this trial or something like
and
that.
It's not the same way.
This one, Link himself has to be ready in order to draw it.
There's a requirement, and I'm not going to say what.
But I will say this: if you fail to meet that requirement, the sword will kill you.
Yep.
And that I loved. I was so like.
It's the purest moment. Are you worthy?
Yep. Are you worthy of wielding?
It's a true test of worthiness.
Yep. Are you worthy to wield this sword? And if you're not,
and bravery.
Yeah. It involves bravery, and because the thing is like the effect it gives is like longer. It's quicker.
Actually, I kind of wish you hadn't told me what that requirement was, because you figured it out before I did, and you told me, and then it's like, okay, so I need this, so I made sure I had it.
Yeah.
So it's So you. That's like
So
said,
don't spoil yourself
so
online.
you did metagaming in Zelda.
Yeah, don't spoil things like that online. Trust me, it makes it much more worth it if you figure it out yourself. It really does.
It's the same thing. If I saw anything that hinted at the final area, I clicked out of it. I'm like, nope.
I did that today on Immigrant.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So it's like, do not spoil yourself on story content or the major content. I will admit I cheated a little in some puzzles that were like, oh my God, how do I figure this out? I'm so frustrated.
I asked Joey. Like that one with the stars. I tried, that one. So I tried several combinations. It's this room that has a bunch of combinations and it has a link with like the stars in the room, and I could not figure it out. So I ended up asking him on it, and that's the only one.
I googled it.
That's the only one I've asked.
No way I was gonna figure that out.
I refuse to Google it, but I will. It was like I will Google Joey's personal knowledge.
Yeah, it was.
I have actually completed all 120 shrines. Holy shit, are some of them hard to find? Like, okay, so my only guide, the only guide I allowed myself in finding their locations was a map, the overworld map that showed it and had the little dot of where it was. Some of them that was basically right where it was, but some of them you had to find where it was in order to get
into that area.
Yeah, how to get into that area. Because there's one, it's like up in the mountains, and it looks like, okay, it should be right here. And the map's imprecise because you're kind of zoomed out, and so it could show you the full map, and you're wandering this whole area.
Is that the one linked with the bird with the thing in its stomach quest? Because it's like the lone tree in the bird area. Oh no! That one I actually managed to figure out on my own. That one, it's like I noticed. Wait a minute, the outline of the snow kind of looks like a bird, and I went over there and I saw. Actually, I actually was heading there, and I climbed that tree and looked around for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's like I screw it. They said go in. They said it was in this direction, so I just flew in that direction, and I actually ended up seeing it before the train fully loaded in. Really far off. I saw the glow from it. It's like, okay, so it's there, but I still had to look around to actually find it.
There was one that's up in the mountains where it's it doesn't clearly. It's like if you look at a map, it should be right here, and you're looking around and you climb all over the mountain range, and it's like, where are you? Turns out it's in a cave underneath the mountain that you have to force open, and it's like.
Is that the one with the 3 trees?
No, that's not the one with the 3 trees. That one.
That one took me a while.
That one took me a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting over there, I died several times. I didn't have any warm gear.
Yeah. No, the thing that tricked me was this one was in Hebra, and it's where one of the Leviathans are, and you basically have to use a snowball to force some stone doors open, in order to be able to get access to it.
Ooh, wonderful.
And it is a fun puzzle to find it, and then a fun puzzle to actually get the damn doors open.
Yeah. I just love it is when you make those points, when you do that, is this it? And it just for a person who has, as an outsider, basically doesn't know what these are, it's now he saw the one with the 3 trees, I'm like, I'm going to be finding 3 trees now, I'm going to be like, they're going to be throwing me off now, I just know it's going to pass.
It's part of a quest.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll know it when you see it.
No, he will never find it. He will never find that NPC because he doesn't talk to NPCs.
You're right. Talk to people, Jesse.
God,
I know you're an introvert, but it's a game. They're not real.
Link doesn't talk anyways. You can still be introverted.
No, he does talk, but only text.
No, he doesn't actually talk in the game.
Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't.
He doesn't say anything
no,
in game.
He doesn't voice act, but there's no line text for Link.
Yes, there is.
Where?
When
there is no line text.
There's one Gerudo, and he even when he can talk to us,
the text bubbles is what I'm talking about. Those are full sentences in there.
And Link doesn't say that.
Yes,
ever.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
Then how does that information conveyed to the NPC if he doesn't say
That's
generally, just kind of... Okay, so Link does talk, but he doesn't, There's no... Okay. You mean the text options to select what to choose?
Yes, that's him saying those words.
Fair enough.
NPCs.
Fair enough.
Because how in the world would
that's
say
what I'm talking. Not cutscenes. That's not what I'm talking about.
Because at one point I'm trying to make this one Gerudo I've recently in where it's I've been walking around. I was like, is there a reason why we met? You could say you're my dream girl, and it's like. How would the NPC know him saying
Oh yeah,
that?
I said that. She said no.
Yeah, she says no matter what you say.
I know.
And that's what I found funny. You can either say you're a dream girl or I'm just a wanderer. If you say you're a dream girl, it's like, I've been warned about people have been saying that, so I must decline. And if you say I'm just a wanderer, it's like, then why should I talk to you? And it's like, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
The illusion of choice.
Woman.
Yeah. What's funny is the game makes you say that.
Yes, it does.
In order to beat that area, you have to compliment a crossdresser that say that she is beautiful.
Yeah.
That she is a beautiful woman.
Yeah. So overall, it's just one of those things. It's a good game. We are really very vocal about this, and I knew going into this podcast when we get to this segment it was going to be a huge chunk. And
there's a very loud section about 20 seconds back there.
Yep, probably because we were just kind of like arguing about Link talking. Yeah.
So it's one of those things. We're very vocal about this game, and it's definitely is one of those a lot of people have been very vocal of as well, and I think that's very good. It's for my kind of take on it, kind of give my concluding remarks, is very different from the normal Zelda formula in a good way.
Yep.
It is very approachable in terms of again its open worldness, and you can kind of craft your own adventure, and that's what I kind of like about compared to other Zeldas, where I know there's an optimal path. This one isn't. There's a preferred path. Maybe
no, there isn't actually.
Not really.
Once you get to Kakariko Village and basically get access to unlock your memories, at that point it stops holding your hand and you go in wherever the hell you end up.
Yeah, and just
there is no optimal path.
And
there you can end up in any area and complete any of the dungeons in any order or not do them at all.
Yeah, and just at the moment, because usually there's the illusions, like I've seen people that the preferred path, but really it's like, no, that's just the path you took.
Yep.
And that's what I think is just very awesome about this game that's all I can say is like it's good. It's very outside from the norm. If you've not played a Zelda game and you have the chance, please give it please don't just like, oh, it's just another Zelda game. You're stabbing yourself in the foot of opportunity if you just go off on that assumption. And the ones in the corner will be very vocal saying that and that's one thing of all the kind of criticisms I've seen for people who have not played the game. It's like, oh, it's just Zelda. It's like, I just want to do the excuse me kind of a moment.
Yeah. You're really doing yourself as a gamer a disservice by just dismissing it as just another Zelda. You know, I mean, it's like a lot of its core elements are there, you know, save the princess, save the world, you know.
But that's a story that's as old as time itself.
Yes.
I mean, just in general.
Yes. And so, you know, a lot of the like core heart of Zelda is still in there. But the gameplay is completely unique, you know. You're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, it's like, you know, and I find it funny. It's like people say it's like compare it to other games, and it's like, don't. You know, it's like people love comparing it right now to Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's like,
or to Dark Souls,
or you know, all these other things, and it's like, don't appreciate this game for what it is. Yes, there are elements that are reflective and similar to these other games, these other open world games, but the thing is that each of these games are good in their own right. Having these like useless rivalries over like which game is better, all you're doing, you know, the thing is, if you get caught into one of those like topics in rivalry, you already know which game you prefer, you know.
Yeah.
And so you're not satisfying anyone, you know. You're not converting anyone. Almost everyone in those arguments has their viewpoint, you know. PS4 fans are going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. Nintendo fans are going to be Zelda all the way, you know.
And Xbox are going to enjoy their Netflix app.
Yep. Take that.
Playful little jab. as I literally look towards my Xbox
yeah,
as I said that.
looked right at it as well. I'm looking like, yeah, there's Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4 all hanging out right there, and it's just like
two PCs.
Yeah,
two PCs. Yep.
The first step is admitting I have a problem.
But
anyway, so any concluding marks for you, Mike?
It's good. Get it.
Yeah. If I may,
but seriously, it is a great game. If you're a Nintendo fan, if you're a Legend of Zelda fan, definitely
or an open world RPG fan.
Yes, and you have the money for it, then yeah, I'd say it's a great investment.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, maybe not investment, but a good purchase.
Yeah, and for the amount of hours some people are spending in this game, I would say investment.
Well,
for the console is a good investment. The game is just a good purchase.
Yeah. And, if you're feeling, a bit cautious about the Switch because you're not sure about Zelda being its only game in its lineup that, granted, it's not the only game in its lineup, but it's the only, AAA title.
That's really noteworthy. And what,
But Nintendo Switch has plenty of games lined up in the future for it. There's the Dragon Quest series, there's the, there's Splatoon, there's Mario, there's Xenoblade.
And even
there's Skyrim.
There's Skyrim coming.
Sometime in the unknown future, though.
Yeah, there's. Let's see, what else? There's a Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors. That I'm excited about that.
There are all these games, and these are just
Golden Age, baby.
Even Golden Sun?
Golden Sun, that would be awesome.
Oh my god, I would bow and call Nintendo my gods. Like that.
The 3 golden goddesses.
Yes. Oh man, the 3 golden goddesses of fantasy, RPG style games. Legend of Zelda, Golden Sun, and the Tales of series.
Yeah,
those are the holy trinity for me. And god damn it, they only have ever made 3 Golden Sun games, and damn it, give me more.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we'll go on to a segment of games we really want in this system in another segment. So I do wish to wrap up because we got
why? We've only been talking for 2 hours. That's hardly enough time, Jesse.
I think as I got to the moment, I was like, all right, we're found on a good note. I think it's a good time. So again, huge thank you for all those who are helping hit our milestone for 200 subscribers. Cheers for many more along the path. And I really, really hope you enjoy this podcast. And again, if you have any ideas for future topics, please let us know. We are very open to suggestions. We would love even if it's just what's our favorite color. Pretty sure we can fill in an hour with that.
Jesse's is red.
Thank you. So, now fill in the 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 52 minutes.
There's a reason why you're the main talker in these things, Jesse. I don't talk much. Well, okay, I talk a lot when we have a subject that I know about.
Yeah, so it's mostly finding subjects we need to find, and I definitely feel we found it tonight. So again, thank you for tuning in. This has been Jesse,
Joey,
Mike.
Oh, and as a side note, I want to include something real quick. If I can bully Jesse into letting me borrow his capture card, I am going to try and get the footage and recordings to put a personal review and conversation, theory videos on Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because I really kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
And upload those onto our YouTube. I just need to ensure that my family is out shopping during these times.
Yeah, just find the time window and everything. So, yeah. So, in good time, my friends. Other than that, thanks so much for listening, and we hope to talk in the corner once again.